Good morning, everyone, from the South Mouth Deli on Highway 98. It's time for Breakfast with the Bobcats, our first installment for the 2019 baseball season. I'm Kelly Sander, glad to be with you, along with our head baseball coach, Larry Knight of the Sumrall Bobcats. Joining us a little bit later on, a couple of the seniors that are on the field for the Bobcats this year. We'll be talking with Billy Garrity, the Southern Miss commit, a terrific outfielder, pitcher for the Bobcats, and then also Zane Berry will be joining us. He'll be headed to East Mississippi next year. Been a starter at second base for quite some time, and we welcome you, Coach, this morning. Let's kind of, with our first installment, kind of go back to the beginning of the year and what you anticipated. Obviously, a lot of seniors. Sometimes Bobcat fans will look on the field and see 8 out of the 9 positions filled by seniors. So, with most of the outsiders looking in, basing experience on how a team should perform, I would guess you were pretty optimistic heading into the year.
Yeah, most definitely. The past 2 years, I think we've talked about this at different times, with the media. We've had a small senior class. Not that they weren't a good group. Last year we had 4 guys, and they all 4 did really well. And then the year before, I think we had 3. But, when you have a large senior group and guys that have played a good bit and have some talent, normally your expectations are to have a good season, and so far that's been the case.
When you put together a schedule, and lots of times you have to put a schedule together a year or 2 in advance, but you book some teams on the schedule like Jackson Academy, a very strong team. West Jones, of course, in the 5A South State Championship last year, expected to be good again this year. You've got a West Marion team coming in today who has some signature wins against even some teams in our division, in our district. So, talk about how you put a schedule together and how you try to make it mesh.
Well, I think that is important. From a coaching standpoint, there's years that you feel like you can play a very, very challenging schedule, and we play a challenging schedule every year anyway. I mean, we're always going to play in South Mississippi. You're going to have a lot of teams in your area down here that play top-notch baseball. And so we're always going to play those teams. But then there's other years where you might have to, sprinkle in maybe some teams that you feel like, all right, this would be pretty much our level, and we're not maybe having to play every single game to a very, very high standard. Maybe we can, with young guys, expect some mistakes and things and so forth. And so this year in particular, we did plan a very tough schedule. We've seen some really good teams. Overall, been pleased with what we've done with that. I mean, we've had our lapses, but I think it's important. The biggest thing is, do you have the pitchers to be able to survive a tough schedule? And some years you may get out there and you just got, maybe 2 guys that you're really depending on, and the other ones are young and they need to you don't want to send them out to the wolves. You want to maybe find the games that you can pencil those particular pitchers in that are younger. And this year I think we've shown we're very deep on the mound, and we can afford to play some very tough teams early and send those guys out there and face that challenge.
It's interesting, too, because when you talk to opponents of Sumrall, they'll go, well, they better get it this year because of all these seniors. But I said, look, when you look at a baseball team, it all starts with pitching. It starts and ends with pitching, in my opinion. And when you look at the pitching cupboards of your Bobcat program, you got plenty of pitchers. Even after graduation this year, you got plenty of good pitchers coming up. So that certainly is good as far as looking at the horizon. A lot of Bobcat fans asked me this year about the Perfect Game tournament that you guys played in over in Hoover, Alabama. How was the invitation extended, and how did that come about?
Well, fortunately, in the success of our program in the past, I've had the opportunity to be involved with Perfect Game. I coached an All-American Classic out in San Diego years ago, back when we, I believe it was 2010, 2011 school year. And so I've got a good relationship with those guys. And the biggest thing is, you have to be invited to those particular tournaments. And we've been invited, several times. And some years, like we went back at, I believe, 2015, and when it was in Atlanta, and went to that one, and that was a very good experience out there. And then, we got invited back a couple other times, but I didn't feel like, I was kind of going back to what I stated earlier, that we had the arms to go out there and compete well. Well, this year I felt like we did, and so we were invited and went out there, and and saw some very strong teams, saw some good arms, and saw some very good offensive clubs. You look at Bob Jones, who we played first, has 6 D1 commitments, a junior loaded team. Had a very exciting game that we couldn't pull out, but it was a close game, 3-1. Next game, against Cartersville, Georgia, who's defending runner-up state in the state in 4A in Georgia. Didn't play real well against them, but from our standpoint, we wanted to experience those things, and then we won our next 2 games by 2 teams out of Georgia, and so came back, feeling pretty good about the fact that at least we didn't go out there and just fall on our face. And I think that helps us in the grand scheme and being able to see those arms. But it goes back to, I think, we were fortunate to have some of those really strong teams in the past and got the national attention, and then the invitations kind of came from that.
I think one of the things that I took out of it, and I think maybe the players too, if they were paying attention off the field, which I'm sure they were, is that it's the dream naturally of a lot of players to want to be able to play at the next level, to maybe play professional baseball. But when you go to an event like the one at Perfect Game in Hoover, if guys don't understand how extremely, almost ridiculously competitive it is,
Yep.
to be able to play at the next level,
Yep.
they got an eyeful that weekend.
Exactly. There's no doubt about it. I mean, when you look at not only the teams we played, but the other ones that are around, I mean, you're looking at guys that are going to be first-round draft picks that are in this tournament. Guys throwing in the upper 90s, and so the kids are able to see, this is what it's about. If you want to play D1 baseball or a chance to get an opportunity to play professional baseball, it takes you out of your small world and sees, what every coach in Division I is seeing when they go scout these teams, and also Major League Baseball. So, I think it's very, very good for them because, the guys, when you see where you stack up, it either makes you say, okay, I've got to really work harder, I've got to get better, or it's like, well, all right, I'm going to be the best high school player I can be and maybe get a chance to play JUCO baseball. But if not, let's have a great time and hopefully have a great season and have a chance to win a state championship.
And there were some great teams, and then the Bobcats came back home, and then district play was on the horizon, a good series against Poplarville and a hotly contested series against Greene County that wrapped up, last night, probably one of the best arms, and from the left side that you got to see last night. I have said that I thought the only team that could beat Sumrall was Sumrall. And there were some things that the Bobcats didn't do last night that I'm sure you weren't. But in fairness, the left-hander that they threw last night was really good. I think 11 strikeouts, maybe?
Yeah, 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And we told the guys going in that of course, we saw him last year. And he was a sophomore and just still young, and we had a lot of success with him. He just had some command issues, and we ran him out of there in the first inning, I believe. But I mean, you could tell, hey, this kid's got a good arm. And then we'd heard some things. He struck out 15 against Lawrence County. We had heard from different coaches that he had pitched extremely well, starting to get some attention from some colleges. And so that was the challenge to our guys during the week is say, look, we got to be ready. It's going to be a different ball game Friday night. After we won Tuesday, I immediately told them that. I said, we got to be prepared and start getting ourselves ready for Friday. And because Greene County is a tough place to play at. I mean, it's it's not an easy drive, and you go down there and you play, and I've seen teams go down there who have been playing really well not play well, and that happened to us last night. And but going back to when we faced Poplarville, Poplarville's got a, in my opinion, very talented team. We were fortunate to swing the bats real well that week. We did some things well. I thought we pitched good enough. Not great the first game. Second game, Halen threw a tremendous game. Ran in a little bit of trouble in the last inning, but I think that overall, when you put all the phases together, that last game when we won 13-3, we pitched well, we played good defense, and we hit well. And that's what you want, is try to put those 3 phases together. It's not easy to do. Some of our wins this year have been because we've pitched really well. Most of them have been the 3 phases. But you go back now when we face Greene County, the first game at our place, and I'd like to look and see. I was actually talking to Nick Chatham at Greene County last night is to kind of find out what is the state record of number of pitches thrown in a game. Hunter Barrett threw 47 pitches on Tuesday night in 6 innings, and that is a really amazing. What a tremendous job he did, and we had a big win, 10-0, and you're playing at home, a lot of excitement, and but then backtracking again to last night, it was a tough game. We just didn't play well really in all phases. We knew going in that we would need to have a well-pitched game and play good defense, because I expected it, to be honest with you, to be a low-scoring game. I really say, okay, if we can score, 3-4 runs, something like that, maybe we win the ball game 3-4 to 1 or 2 or something like that. But we spotted them 3 in the first inning. But then I felt like if we could just hold on to that right there, we had a chance. But then we just kind of fell apart in the 4th inning.
You pulled it to 3-2 with the 2 solo homers.
Yeah, I really felt good about our chances at that point. So if we can just, hold them from this standpoint. But then we just made some mistakes. You didn't pitch well that inning. Made some errors, a couple errors that inning. Didn't handle some things well. And our guys have been through a lot. I mean, they've played a lot, and so it was really uncharacteristic of what we expect, but they're also high school kids.
Yeah, and it's interesting though that you've been around the game as long as you have, and I have, obviously. When you see these errors, are kind of like dominoes. It's like when the first one falls,
Yep.
It's like
Yep.
then the other guys start maybe questioning, when's the next one going to happen? It's a weird psychological thing.
Yep.
We're at the South Mount Deli on Highway 98. They're taking care of the guys here. Zane Berry and Billy Garrity are going to be joining us here individually in just a moment as we continue our discussion with Breakfast with Bobcats with Coach Larry Knight. Let's talk about the district now, Coach. Wide open so far.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think that Purvis would sweep Lawrence County. Didn't happen. You'd think that Greene County would sweep Lawrence. That was a split. So, I mean, this thing is going to go down to the very last game of the very last night.
And I was also in another conversation I had with Coach Chatham, I really feel like when you look at outside our division last year, Van Cleve, we knew, was extremely loaded. They won the state championship. East Central, who beat us out the year before, had a lot back, and they were really good. You look around, and of course, you got West Lauderdale, and you got Northeast Jones, and some teams like that. But really, our division this year, could easily have some of the top teams in the South. And it's not always the case, but we've got a strong division. But, I mean, with the kid that threw last night on the mound, they can beat anybody. Poplarville, I mentioned about being a scrappy team, and they did sweep Forest County this week. So, they're sitting there 2-2. Greene County's 2-2. Lawrence County, snuck up on Purvis last night. Lawrence County's 2-2, and here's us and Purvis sitting here at 3-1. And normally both of us probably at this time are undefeated, and we're about to play each other, and which we got them next week. So you're exactly right. I mean, this and it makes it exciting. It really does, and it also makes you understand, and our guys should understand, we don't have a week off. We've got Purvis next week, and then Lawrence County, I believe, or Forest County. I may have it backwards, but we got them and the other one to finish out the season. And so those are things that that some years you could go through and say, well, this team's not as strong, and we can kind of just go through, maybe try a different arm or something like that, but that's not going to be the case. And so I could see this year it going down to the very last game to determine all the seeds.
And in the series next week with the Tornadoes, the Bobcats will go to Purvis on Tuesday, so the Tornadoes will have home field advantage. Although, when you look at the history of the series, the home teams don't necessarily fare very well. It's interesting.
You never know about that. I mean, you would think it matters, but Purvis lost at home last night to Lawrence County, and so I was talking to Tony Farlow yesterday about that. He said that Lawrence County always plays them well at home, and it's weird how those things work. And it's just like I talked about with Greene County. You just got some different things that happen. But for us in Purvis, it really doesn't matter where you're playing. It's going to be good games, and either team can win on the road, and either team can, certainly lose if in any particular situation. So.
Both fan bases travel really well too, so it should be the epitome of what high school sports are supposed to be about. But now Purvis, the defending champion in the district, lost some guys due to graduation, but they've still got a couple of guys that can sling it.
Oh yeah, they in my opinion, they're the ones to beat. I mean, they're defending champions. They've got Johnson and Hudson, both arms that are juniors. And they've done a good job for them so far this year, and they're going to keep them in the game, and they're going to compete, and they're very good high school pitchers who both probably get an opportunity, I'm sure, to move on and play some type of college baseball. And so it'll be a tough series. It's always an exciting series, between us two. And you never know what happens. Last year was some crazy games. One of them went 8 or 9 innings. It's hard to remember. The other one seemed like it went extra innings too, or may have ended in the last inning. But both games were tight games. Both games were first game last year we played them were both well-pitched games from both sides. Went extra innings. Second game they jumped out on us. We came back, tied it up, and then they beat us late. But it's always there's been some years to where say we've had a lot more coming back than they have, and they have been close games, all the other way around. But when you look at this year, I think it'll be very similar games to last year. And if I'm sitting here in around this in Hattiesburg area and Purvis Sumrall, I'm going to try to go check out 1 or 2 of those games because it's going to be an exciting week.
Now, I had some fans in the Bobcat Nation, Coach, ask me too about the final of the Adidas tournament, the Rex Adidas tournament, because of weather. The championship game, didn't get to be played. So where does that stand, and is Purvis in that puzzle?
I'm glad you brought that up. Oak Grove and Purvis play today. They play today, and so. The winner of that will play us, and we already have it set up. If Purvis wins, then the championship game will be Friday night at our place. If Oak Grove wins, we have them scheduled later on, I believe in 2 weeks from today, at our place. And so that both of them, the stars lined it up. They lined up.
So that game will serve a dual purpose then.
That's right.
Not only a regular season win, but also the tournament championship.
That's right.
Well, that is cool.
That worked out. It really
has
worked out. And people don't realize this, but the winning team gets a new uniform. And so, Adidas is a big sponsor, and Rex Sports, with Danny Bowering, they do a great job of helping promote this. And so it's neat, last year we won it, and that's where we got the new blue tops from, and it's more at stake rather than just the pride issue. There is actually an award for it.
Well, make sure when you talk to Coach Broom, if you would, at least a 3X. Okay, for the radio guys swag, which look, all the coaches at Sumrall and all the guys, they're all in tip-top physical condition. They don't need a 3X. I don't know who might, but
your guess is as good as mine.
I could probably find somebody that could take care of that. All right, Coach, good luck today against West Marion. Again, this West Marion Trojan team coming in has defeated the likes of Northwest Rankin, who the Bobcats will play later on this year. If I'm not mistaken, they beat Poplarville. They might have beaten Greene County. I know that this West Marion team coming in here, don't sleep on them.
No, not at all. And I wanted to talk about them as well. They've got a very good team. And it's tough on us. We had a tough loss last night coming back. At least we're at home. That helps out. But we're going to have to be ready to play. If we play like we did last night, it could be the same results, of course. And so I'm sure they'll be excited to come in here and play and be ready for us. I think they had a good week. I don't know how they did last night. I know they won early in the week. They had a division game on Tuesday against, I believe, Wesson. And so they're going to be a strong club. Once again, no letdowns for us.
Before we let you go, Coach, on a personal note, everybody in the area is so proud of your brother Steve. They've taken the Crusaders at the NAIA National Basketball Tournament as deep as any Cary team has gone. And as we are here at Southmouth on this Saturday morning, 12 noon they'll play today for a bid to the semifinals.
That's extremely exciting. He's been so many times, and it's been quite some time since they won the opening game, and now they've won 2. And I tell you, we were talking about earlier, that's a tough road. They played last night and come back and have to play at 12 o'clock today in what they at the NAIA Sweet 16, and they run them through. They have games nonstop, and very proud of them. Wish them all the luck. And that was the highlight last night. I get in my truck and I'm pretty upset, and then I find out they won 62-60, and that
beat a number one seed.
Yes, did a great job, and so we're certainly pulling for them.
And they played today at 12 o'clock.
Yep.
For those folks. You can watch a little bit of the basketball
That's
game
right.
online, and then see the Bobcats
well,
play.
I know Ann Knight will have two. She'll have an iPad and a computer or phone watching our game and his game at the same time.
If she doesn't have adult ADD, she will today. Trying to keep track of everything. Coach, good luck.
Yeah,
continued success. You want to send us one of the seniors over here, and we're going to be with you, periodically here from the Southmouth Deli. We want to thank Bobby DeLeon and the staff here at Southmouth for making us feel welcome. They always take care of the boys, make sure that they get a really good hot breakfast, and it's a sacrifice for the boys, to get up on. Most of us adults, we're up and at them pretty early, even on weekends. But for the boys, sometimes it can be a challenge to get up out of bed this early on a Saturday morning, particularly when they have to. We're just going to go one at a time here, and we'll talk to Bill. Just slap those on there, Billy. But for them to have to get up on a Saturday morning and then play, Saturday afternoon, it's an ordeal. Billy Garrity joins us. Good morning, Billy. Good to have you here. I know you're thrilled to death to be. Pull your mic in just a little bit closer to your mouth. There you go. All right, tell me so far, Billy, about the season. Some things that are just on your mind. Is this the last year for you?
I think we're having a really good year. I think last night was just that wasn't us. But I think we're having a good year. I think we're turning a lot of heads. We're ranked number 1 in Mississippi in a couple things. And, I'm happy with what I see. Not happy with last night, but happy with the rest of the season.
Yeah, you've played just about every position for Sumrall. You played right field. You played first and third base. You've pitched. Done whatever you need to do to be called upon. So, your individual game. Tell me some things that you're happy with in your individual game, or some of the things that maybe you want to work on.
I'm happy with pitching. My pitching so far. I'm happy with my power that I've had, on base percentage. I'm not happy with batting average. That's the only thing. Under 300, that needs to come up. That's not me to hit under 300, but power-wise, like home run numbers, RBIs, on base percentage, pitching, I'm good with all that.
One of the things that you've had to deal with that a lot of the guys on the team, haven't, and you're hitting in the 4-hole, of course, is the fact that you're not, particularly earlier in the season, you weren't getting a whole lot to hit. And it takes a certain kind of discipline to be able to sit there and take pitches, knowing that you want to hit, but if it's not a strike, not swing. Kind of tell me about how you mentally address that and the high number of walks and the fact you want to hit.
I think I've just matured as a hitter. I haven't chased anything like used to, like sophomore year maybe. I would get frustrated with walking so much. I wanted to hit, but now I've just learned that it's going to help my team to get on base, whether it's walks or if I hit a double. If I'm on base, I'm going to help the team, and that's just helped me mature. I've just matured as a player doing that.
Yeah, but full disclosure, man, I can see when you take a walk and you pull the straps off the glove, you're not real happy.
I think that's more when I get pegged.
Oh, okay.
It's been on purpose a few times, but
kind of an unintentional, intentional hit. Billy Garrity's with us. He'll be headed to Southern Miss next year. He committed to the Golden Eagles last season. You're in a unique situation, too, in a Bobcat uniform, and that your dad is in the dugout, wearing a uniform as well. Tell me, how would you describe your relationship on the field with your dad as opposed to off the field?
He's there for, like, if I do something wrong, he's going to be there for me. He's going to tell me just get it next time. And if I hit a home run or something, I can go to him, and he's going to be more proud than anybody. So I think it's a good relationship to have, and it's going to be different next year not having him, because I've had him since I was 10 years old in the dugout.
But can you draw? Do you have difficulty drawing the line between dad and coach?
There's some times where I do, but most of the time he's there for me and happy for me. Whatever.
When you look at your home run output this year, you've had 5 on the season. 3 have been to right center, 2 have been to left center. But interestingly, as a power hitter, none of them have been dead pulls. to right field. Tell me about that, about going oppo, and what's your approach when you go to the plate?
I mean, I've talked to my coaches at Southern. I've talked to Coach Cooley. They say your approach, if you have your approach of trying to hit everything over center field, so I know I haven't. I've hit them left center, right center. If you try to have your approach of hitting everything over center field, your home run numbers are going to increase. If you're not just sitting there trying to dead pull everything and you're trying to stay in the middle, you'll stay on balls longer.
That's hard to go the opposite way, though, and generate a lot of power because the bat drag, you're actually behind the pitch a little bit,
Yeah.
to get it to go the opposite way.
I mean, I've always been able to go the other way fine. Sometimes I get greedy and it's an outside pitch and I try to pull it and I ground out or something when I could have gone that way. But that's just all coming with this year, being a more mature hitter, being able to take that the other way.
This senior class that the Bobcats have on the field, this has been a class that Bobcat fans have waited on, for a long, long time. They said, wait till these guys get to be seniors. Well, this is that time. And the word senior leadership you hear about all the time, but heck, almost all of you, are seniors. So is there an emotional leader on this team? Are you that guy? And if not, who is? And what makes them that person?
I think everybody has their parts of leadership. I think everybody looks up to every senior. I don't necessarily think there's one person. I think everybody on different days will have their day to be that leader, which is a good thing. You have a team full of leaders. You don't just have one leader that everybody looks up to. So,
Billy Garrity with us, and Billy, if you guys, obviously the goal is to hoist the trophy. Will it have been a disappointing season if that doesn't happen?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Right.
I think it'd be disappointing for everybody in this area because they know that that's our year to do that. So
how do you expect to shake this one off, last night and into this West Marion game today? And furthermore, district rivals Purvis, Tuesday night.
I think it'll show what kind of team we were, what kind of team we are. Good teams can just shake it off and start playing back to normal. I mean, last night was a bad night. Everybody knows that. But that's what kind of team – you see what kind of team you are the next day and the next week. And
yeah, I've never really panicked on games like that because if you're ever around any type of sport, those days are just going to happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes in baseball, you'd sit there and go, we could have played 50 innings and the result wouldn't have changed. It just wasn't, lined up, last night. So
it wasn't all night.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that you look at it that way. Look forward to seeing you the rest of the season. Thank you for all the memories throughout your career at Sumrall, and here's to hopefully hoisting that trophy in Jackson a little bit later on. Billy, thanks very much.
All right, thank you.
We're going to get Zane Berry over here now. He's also one of the seniors. He's been I think a 3-year starter for Sumrall at second base, and 4-year starter. Thank you for that correction. Yeah, Zane's always going to make sure now that he doesn't get cheated at all. And headed to East Mississippi next year, where he will join the Lions staff. Good morning.
Good morning.
Boys, and it's tough getting up on a Saturday morning. Not for you.
Yeah, I'm a morning person.
Okay, good. You probably already ran 3 or 4 miles and
200 push-ups.
Oh, wow.
Mowed the grass twice.
Twice? Boy, that grass grows fast, doesn't it? And it's good to see that you're in a good mood.
Oh, thank you.
Heading into this game today now, first of all, let's go back to the beginning of the season. Any individual goals that you set for yourself, Zane?
Not really hitting-wise, but I wanted to get on base a lot because I know with my speed I can make a lot of things happen on base. So I wanted a good on-base percentage and just hit when my name is called. With Dennis on, it makes my job a lot easier because they have to throw to me because they don't want both of us on base.
I sensed a frustration early in the year, though, because you were making good contact, but you were hitting it right at people.
Yes, sir. That's
and I sensed just a real angst in you, like, man, this has got to start going my way. And it did.
It started going my way, yes, sir.
What's been the difference, though, from the first couple of weeks to now?
I've changed my approach and made some tweaks in my stance and things, and it's really helped out a lot. I've been looking fastball, and that's really all they throw me, and I'll bunt it on the occasion because I mean, nobody stopped it yet.
Actually,
so.
I was going to say a lot of infield hits.
Okay.
You'd think that they'd bring the third baseman in, on the edge of the grass or something, anticipating that.
I guess they hadn't got the scouting report yet, but I like to bunt, so I'm gonna start.
Hey, whatever it takes.
Hey, if they're gonna give it to me, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, the fact that you guys, pretty much this whole shell of a team, the starting defensive unit, you guys have played together for so long. It's almost like what's talk about the effect of being teammates for so long.
Well, I personally I feel like I've been playing with them my whole life just because we've been playing together for 4 years. We know each other. We know what we're capable of doing, and so it just really helps with whatever you got to do. You know that your teammate has your back, and our chemistry's there, and we just love each other. So it's awesome playing for a team like this.
I didn't get a chance to ask Billy this, but I'll ask you while I've got you here about the experience in Hoover, getting to play in the Perfect Game tournament and seeing the cream of the crop high school baseball players across the country, and just how competitive it is if you ever want to play, at a really high level, whether it be college or pro baseball.
I thought it was a really cool experience, and for me, I thought this is what junior college is going to be like, because all that competition up there, that's the best high school players you could play against, and one of the highest tournaments you can play in as a high school program. So for me, I just felt like this is what my future is going to look like, playing in junior college, and it was good to get to see it,
Yeah, those games obviously over in Hoover didn't count as far as who makes the playoffs over here in Mississippi or whatever, but going into that tournament, were you guys a little bit, as experienced as the Sumrall team is, were you a little bit anxious going over there, going, how good are these teams going to be, and are we going to be able to hang as good as we are? Are you going to be able to hang? Yeah.
Yes, sir. That was the thought process. We knew that we could compete with every team up there, and they might have, statistics-wise, they might have a better team than us, but they didn't have the chemistry we had, and they don't play as hard as we do. So going up there, I really thought we had a really good chance of going deep into the tournament.
And then after the tournament was over, you probably said, "Yeah, we probably are going to go back to home and do pretty well
and take care of business."
Yeah, based on that, yeah. So
Yeah.
you got the Tornadoes after the West Marion game today. You got Purvis coming. Actually, Bobcats go to Purvis on Tuesday. Tell me about that series over the years, and particularly this year now, when it could very well be for first place in the district.
Well, for me, I've never swept Purvis ever in my life, and right now we hadn't lost to Purvis all year, football or basketball, and this could be our last time ever playing Purvis. And I hate that school. I don't know why.
The Battle of 589, right?
So this is really important to me because as a senior, it's my last time playing Purvis, and I love playing against those guys because it's such a good feel and it's such a good atmosphere, and they bring a lot to the table, and so do we, and it's always good competition. So I really think we have a good chance this year of taking the sweep, but we know it's not going to be given to us because they always play their best game against us.
Have you ever really, on a personal note, though, Zane, off the baseball field, have you guys, you think any of you have really thought about this is our senior year? This is it, no matter what happens, and in a couple of months, in a month and a half, you're going to be graduating high school.
We think about it, but we don't want to. So we try to think about it as less as we can.
Enjoy it as long as you can.
Yes, sir.
All right, but this series with Purvis coming up, East Mississippi. Tell us about that decision and how you came to that decision. Because the MACJC, by the way, I want to plug the MACJC, toughest junior college league in America, regardless of the sport. So when people go, JUCO, look. JUCO is a great level of baseball, and you get a full scholarship in junior college. Let that sink in. And parents hear that too. Full scholarship at the junior college level that you don't in Division I. But anyway, that was my editorial opinion. Go ahead.
Well, for me, I rely on my faith a lot, and so I'd been praying that God would open up some doors for me. And then East Mississippi texted me, and they were like, "Hey, we want you to come on a visit." And then I went up there, and I felt like that was a place God had kind of opened up the door for me to go, and it just felt like home.
Yeah, in East Mississippi, the baseball facility there, the baseball players' dorms which are kind of like little
Katrina
yeah,
houses.
yeah. But they're right next to the field, so it's like they have their own little compound.
On that,
Yeah, you don't
it's
have
pretty
to.
neat. It is
And
pretty neat.
and as a football fan, you get to see. I hear East Mississippi has a pretty
You
good
hear?
team.
Yeah, I mean they're all right.
Yeah, #1 in the country, I think, at last report. But anything else that you guys, other than winning the state championship, that you'd like to get accomplished this season, Zane?
District championship. That's the first goal. We have to win district championship to win a state championship. To me, because it's going to make it a lot easier down the road if we win the district championship. And that's for right now. We hadn't made the playoffs yet, so that's the
Right.
most important thing right now. And that's what our eyes are set on. And we're going to try to win out and win our division and have a good, easy road to the state championship.
And what's really wild when you look at this district, the way it shapes up right now, really Forest County at this point is the only team that's out of the picture. I mean, everybody else is like one game apart. You know, Poplarville and Lawrence County is splitting with people when the Cougars have not really been in the equation this late in the season. So there's a lot of baseball left to be played, a lot of things to be determined.
There is, and we talk about it every day. Everybody's going to come out and play their best game against us because every team hates Sumrall. So we have to play our best game every single time we come out and put a Sumrall jersey on. So that's a tough part, but that's a part of it. That's a part of playing for Sumrall, and you have to be up for the challenge.
Yeah, but it's also kind of fun, isn't it? When everybody
It is
hates
fun.
you, you know, kind
And
of like
they-
the bad guy in wrestling.
Yeah, and like it's crazy because like we don't say anything on the field or anything, and they'll act like we're talking crap and stuff. They'll be like, "Yeah." We're like,
Do we say the C word on the air? Well, we already did. I guess it's too late. But no, I totally get that. It's the same reason in the NFL people don't like the Patriots.
yeah,
You know,
they don't do anything wrong. They just win.
they just win, and in this day and age, sometimes that's not a good thing, depending on what you're looking at. But man, continued success. We've really enjoyed
Yes, sir. Thank you.
your career at Sumrall, and hope that everything that you want to have happen will happen the rest
Yes,
of the way.
sir.
Hang with us as we close the show here. Okay, every once in a while we're going to be joining you here. We'll be off next Saturday, but then 2 weeks from today, we'll be right back here at the Southmouth Deli. Coach Knight will bring us an update as to the state of the Bobcat Nation, so to speak, and then we'll have a couple more players that we will feature, so you'll get to know about them, not only as baseball players, but as young men, because they are great kids. But lots of times you only get to hear them really talk about baseball and not about other things. We want you to get to know them, a little bit better, so you know just how special they are. But on the schedule, again, West Marion today, the Trojans at Larry Knight Field. That's a 1 o'clock varsity start. And then at Purvis on Tuesday, and then the Tornadoes come back to Sumrall a little bit later on. You can follow us on social media at Sumrall Athletics on YouTube. Actually, at Sumrall Athletics in just about every social media format. Any game schedules, any changes that you need to know about, follow Sumrall Athletics on social media, and they will get you those updates. Again, thanks to Coach Bobby DeLeon here at the Southmouth Deli for providing the guys a really good breakfast. Coffee's pretty doggone good, too. And we're glad that you spent some time with us, whether it was live here on a Saturday morning or pulling us down a little bit later on. Jeremy Thompson behind the camera here is the guy that really makes everything go. Without Jeremy, none of this happens. So thanks to him. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. You have been watching Breakfast with the Bobcats on the Sumrall Athletics YouTube channel.